morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. It is March 26th. Welcome to my channel. We are having this low volume grind up that is like not the best to trade. Let's be honest here. This has not been the best environment to trade in. Very small moves, and it's not exactly give you the best edge. Okay, there's a lot of key levels we're going to go over today that we need to look at and pay attention to. Okay, so yesterday we also hit the 200-day moving average on the QQQ, and we closed above the 200-day moving average on the SPY. So I expected to see some consolidation here, and that's what we're getting. And without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and volume profile and define structure in the market, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That's the way I look at the markets and construct data on my screens. It's my edge, and I hope to share that with you. All right. So every morning I do this. Hopefully you join me every day. All right. Give you the story of the markets, give you the leaders and the laggards, give you the economic news, the market news, and I give you long and short trade scenarios analyzing the ES and the NASDAQ futures. Okay. Hopefully you enjoy it and smash that like button. Okay. Now we're going to get right into the futures watch list here. Let's see what's moving markets. The VIX is up 1.22%. We're at a 17.36 VIX. We are at 10-year yield is up 1%. Wow, that is interesting. The 10-year yield is up 1%. Crude is up 0.90. Silver is up 0.20. Gold is up 0.17. Dollar is up 0.15. Dow is up 0.08. Russell's up 0.05. ES is flat. NASDAQ is flat, basically down 0.05. Bitcoin is down 0.27. Ether is down 0.48. 30-year bonds being sold down almost 0.5%. Moving on to the Max 7 Plus here. Who's leading the pack? That's your Amazon, up 0.38, followed by Meta, up 0.33, followed by Apple, up 0.25, and Berkshire Hathaway, up 0.19. The laggards are Google, down 0.50, AMD down 0.62, Tesla's down 1.09, Nvidia down 1.41. Nvidia's down 1.41. I wonder what that is. Okay. Moving on to the sectors. And you got energy leading the pack, followed by financials, and then staples. The lone laggard, well, you got technology is pretty much flat, but then semiconductors are your laggard this morning, down 0.32, which is not a lot, but that's your Nvidia being weak. Okay. I think we're ready for the economic calendar. Let's do it. Now today, 30-year mortgage already came out, down 0.1 from last week. Durable goods at 8:30. 10 a.m. Fed Kashkari is speaking, so keep a lookout for that. 10 a.m. Fed Musalem speech. So Fed speak today, and then we got crude inventories. So be aware. All right, let's look at some news. All right. So it says Canada freezes rebate payments to Tesla, bans it from future rebate programs due to tariffs. Canada has frozen all rebate payments for Tesla and banned the electric vehicle maker from future EV rebate programs. Dollar Tree to sell Family Dollar business for $1 billion. Dollar Tree said it will sell its Family Dollar business to a consortium of private equity investors for about $1 billion as the struggling discount store chain looks to restructure its business and cut costs. Let's see here. Exclusive Doge staffer, big balls, provided tech support to a cyber crime ring Records show the best known member of Elon Musk's U.S. Doge service team of technologists once provided support to a cybercrime gang that bragged about trafficking in stolen data and cyberstalking an FBI agent. According to Digital Record, review by Reuters, Wall Street bonuses jumped 32% as total surges to record. New York comptroller says Wall Street banker bonuses rose 31.5% to an average of 244,700 last year as deal making rebounded. But the boom times may wane as economic uncertainty rises, New York State Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli said. Let's see here. GameStop Corp. The company said on Tuesday that its board has unanimously approved the addition of Bitcoin as a Treasury reserve asset. The move by GameStop comes shortly after U.S. President Donald Trump's executive order to establish a strategic reserve of cryptocurrencies using tokens already owned by the government. GameStop said it will use a portion of its cash or future debt or equity issuances to be invested in Bitcoin, but did not specify the maximum amount of Bitcoin it might buy, according to its quarterly filing. It also posted a rise in fourth quarter profit helped by its efforts to reduce costs. GameStop's fourth quarter net income more than doubled to 131.3. All right. Say Grab Holdings, the Singapore headquartered company, is seeking a loan of up to $2 billion to support its potential takeover Indonesia's GoTo. Bloomberg News reported citing people familiar with the matter. The report stated that the so-called bridge loan could have a tenor of about 12 months, and that Grab's talks with banks were in the early stages. U.S. listed ride-hailing and food delivery firms also considered a bond or equity take out after the securing the bridge loan, the report added. Okay, let's see if anything. Nope. All right, let's look at the juice real quick. I saw something around yesterday afternoon after the market closed. It says S&P U.S. economic outlook sees growth losing steam and shifting policies. Let's see here. This says U.S. stock futures fluctuated with investors wary about being whiplash from the latest tariff headlines. The pound weakened after data showed an unexpected slowdown in UK inflation. It's always about tariffs, right? All right, let's see if there's anything here. Not sure if there is or anything that's been updated. Nothing really here. All right, I think we are ready for daily charts. And like I said, oh, you know what? Let's look over these sentiment charts real quick. Let's do that. We'll start with the bullish percent index here. S&P 500 bullish percent index. Let's see. We'll do 5 years back. All right, so this definitely improved from 35. So this means 52% of the S&P 500 are on buy signals, which is basically half and half, right? Makes sense. All right, let's look at our investor, AAII bulls. Let's see what percentage of these investors who were surveyed are bullish. That rose from 19 to 21. So that rose a little bit. Let's see how many are bearish. 58% are bearish. That actually, let's see, actually went down a little bit. Still at extremes. You can see here at extremes. So we only corrected 10%, and the investors who are bearish are it's very extreme. Okay. Now let's look at the New York new highs versus new highs minus lows. That's at a 10, which just means that the same amount basically are making new highs and new lows, pretty much at parity, and that shows that. All right, let's go to daily charts. Just give me a sec here while we go to dailies. Lots of levels to talk about today. Okay. So look what we hit here. All right, let's look at the daily charts together. So you have 200-day moving average pulled back right to it, got bought up, hit this trend line right here. So this trend line from the highs, because you have 1-2 touches, and then boop, right there. So that acted as resistance, right? Where are we at now? We are at 575.35, 575.35. You're in the middle of yesterday's session. Okay, not the best area. Let's look at futures to get a better view, just to see what's going on. You can see that in futures, above the 20-day moving average, and you're kind of just inside yesterday's session. So just like I said, let's look at the Qs. So the Qs, it hit its 200-day moving average yesterday. Let's see, did it really hit it? Almost. It looked like it did before, but basically that's resistance there. People are going to take profits a little bit, right? So we are above last week's range, right? Had some continuation. So where are we at now? 493. So the Nasdaq's structurally stronger. It's near the highs of yesterday's range. Okay, let's look at the live look at futures here. Futures, you can see we're just right nestled inside yesterday's session. Okay, we've been having just very low volume after having such high volume. It's like dropped off the face of the earth, this volume. All right, now we're going to move over to the triple-headed monster here. Let's look at our 10-year yield, because it's getting a spike today. This is very interesting here, like I said yesterday. So we broke this trend. Main down trend line is here. We held the 200-day moving average and had this big range. Now we're trying to break out. Does it break out of this range, or does it break the bottom? That's really the question, right? You can see the 2024 anchored VWAP cuts right through the middle of this range. Who knows, right? This could be looking like a head and shoulders. Obviously shoulder, head, shoulder, and then the neckline would be around 4.13 yield. Let's just see what happens here. Looking at the dollar. Let's look at the dollar. Dollar is looking like the same, right? Just this consolidation here. You went up, went down, and you have another consolidation. Who really knows what's going to happen here? And the VIX has lost steam. From all the way up here to all the way at the 200-day moving average, we're still at a 17 VIX. So we have to see what goes on with that. Now we're ready for the main event. That's the analysis of your futures. Okay. And there's very, very important levels that we need to talk about. Okay. And we're going to do that first to give a grand scheme of how things are looking. Let me get my marker out. Okay, so this is where price is on the ES. 58.21. Call it 58.22, whatever. Look at this high volume node for the rolling year. This has now become the most traded price of the last year. No shocker that we're hanging out here, right? It's the most traded price of the last year. You can see this big spike. That's from a year ago. And you can see we even have a little spike from this year. So really, all you want to see from here is, can we hold this and then possibly move up to here? If we can hold it, we're possibly going to move back down to here around 57.10 to 15. All right, this the other level would be around 58.82. Okay. Now in the Nasdaq, notice this. Okay, we're going to show you this. So the Nasdaq's most traded price of the rolling year is 207.34. That price is right here. And this was earlier when I talked about this with you guys. This big shelf, I said if we fell under that, it would cause us to move lower, and we did, right? Well, look where we bottomed, right at this high volume node, and we've been working our way back up, right? This is not going to be easy to get through. Okay, you can see the bottom of this shelf is already causing some resistance, but we really need to see. And it's the same thing. What do? Do we get over it? Or do we fail and move back down? That's really the key. Okay, it's really the key of what's been going on. All right, now we're going to analyze what's been going on. And there's a whole lot of nothing going on because we're balancing. Okay, we are balancing. Okay, let's look at what we did yesterday. Yesterday had a little range. Opened here, right? Went up here, sold off, closed here. Really like a nothing session. And we have this low volume. That's just been a pain in the butt. Okay. That's what happened yesterday. Now we did pull back right into this demand yesterday. Okay. Now, as far as today, let's expand this. Okay, and we can really look at this profile. So we got the gap. If you look at this profile though, it has a very bullish imbalance to it. Okay, you need to find some excess to the top. And the most traded price of the week has moved up to 58.14 right here. Price is right here. Okay, and we're at the most traded price of the last year, around, just call it 58.20. So this is doing what it's supposed to do when you hit that type of level. It's just bouncing, waiting for a move. Okay, so today, really, it's all about that 58.37. Right, you have 3 sessions with highs there. Right, and then we have basically a confluence low right here at the overnight lows, yesterday's lows, and this demand, and the most traded price of the week at 58.14. That's the playground. That's really all it is today. So pretty simple. Let's just get right into scenarios here. Pretty easy. Nothing really shocking about this. I'm actually going to make, but I'll leave it like this. All right, let's just start with the bull. They are in control. All right, this price is here. This is where you don't want to be. This is the middle of yesterday's session. So if you're a bull, you either want to come down here, test this area, weekly day VWAPs there as well, and see what we can do here. If we come down, start making lower highs, we can possibly break out of that 58.37 level. What else can we do? We could push up, break that confluence high, 58.37, pull back, hold, 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 and try to melt up. Okay. Now, of course, I wouldn't be the craziest about this, but we could somehow break under this level and test the gap. You could possibly get a bounce and go up to here. I don't know if I'd be a fan of that, but I had to put it there. Okay, let's go over to the bear side. Oops. Let's put that back. Okay, bear side. Okay, so price is here. Like I said, horrible location. Now you have had the 5837 act as resistance, right? So all you need to do is you could have a bull trap here. Boop, break it, come back under, and then you're going to probably traverse and test yesterday's lows. Okay, if you break that and hold, 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 possibly could touch the top of this gap. Okay, very, very, very interesting. Now, obviously, you keep going in. You could try to fill the gap. I don't know if the juice is in that right now to do that, but this is what I'm really looking at. All right, so that wraps up the ES. Let's look at the Nasdaq, and I can, wrap this up with you guys. Why does that not look right? Yep. All right, give me 1 second. I don't usually have to do this, but I have to update the data some reason. This is not the best here. Sometimes this happens. The data. I'm going to show you guys a couple other things while this loads. Just give me a sec. I'm going to show you guys. A couple interesting things on the chart here while that loads. Okay. So, anchored VWAPs, I just wanted to show you guys the important anchor VWAPs. Okay. This yellow anchor VWAP is the anchor VWAP for this year. Obviously, for this year, bears are in control, right? This is price right now, right here. This is the anchored VWAP from the all-time highs. We're about to challenge it. So that would be interesting, right? Sellers from the all-time highs, right, would be underwater if we break that. Okay, this is the anchored VWAP for this month. Buyers are in control now. And this is the anchored VWAP from the lows. You could see we tried to challenge it once, but buyers are in control and they're staying in control from this low. Okay, just wanted to show you guys that. It's great. Anchor VWAPs are great because it's just like it's not disputable. It's not a moving average, right? And then let's look at the Nasdaq. Same anchor VWAPs. Okay, let's just see where they're at. So, did I get rid of my? Oh no, I didn't. All right, so same thing. Here's the anchor VWAP from these lows, right? Here's the anchor VWAP from the beginning of this year, and look, we're almost ready to touch the all-time highs anchor VWAP. Okay, month to date right here. So, and there's that big level I talked about, right? The most traded price of the year, right above. So, those are your levels that I just wanted to share with you while we waited for this data to load. All right, let's go back. Still loading. Great. Maybe I can show you NASDAQ. Can show you this real quick. This is your NASDAQ on a daily chart in futures. You can see that shelf here, that most traded price 207.34. That's probably going to stop the market. Once we go up to it, it's probably going to stop the market. In futures, we got 200-day moving average all the way up here. All the way up here. Okay. If I go to ES, like I said, we're right at this most traded price. All right. 200-day moving average all the way up here. So just wanted to share that with you. Now let's see if this, man, this is taking a while to load. What a pain in the butt. Just the NASDAQ has so many ticks and so much data that it's a pain in the butt sometimes to load. And this should load any second, but don't like keeping anybody here. And what we can do is I'm going to flip the script here and we're going to do just an hourly chart. It just makes sense. We could just do the hourly chart because this will load. I don't want to sit here and watch paint dry. So let's oh, it loaded. Hallelujah. All right, there we are. There's a NASDAQ. It just popped up. All right, so let's look at it here. So right now we are in the not in the mid, but close to the mid. Price is right here. Okay, you're at the lower portion of the overnight. Okay, closed up here. All right, so you don't have the same structure as the ES. You don't really have those equal highs, and you don't really have balance like the ES is. It's more trending up, a lot higher low, higher low, higher low. Okay, it's different than the ES. ES is moving sideways, and the Nasdaq is trending. Okay, you could see the rolling profile right here. It kind of has that bullish imbalance, just like the ES. But like I said, ES moves sideways. This is kind of making higher low, higher low, higher low. So definitely a different market, and it's just because tech was so relatively weak that it's stronger when we're bouncing. That's really it. Okay. So right off the bat, big key level here. Most traded price of yesterday, overnight low, and this demand zone, and value area low from yesterday. Bulls want to defend that. Okay. Then we have a supply zone up here. Right there. Bulls want to break it, bears want to defend it. Okay. And the 24-hour most traded price of the week, of the week is 203.40 right here. I would say this is probably your last line of defense here. All right. With the week to day view up right here. This will probably be the most traded price of the week today. This should shift it up. I only track the RTH level. But this is a 24-hour level. So I think we can get right into scenarios here, and I apologize for that delay. Let's do it. All right. Start with the bull case, bull scenario. All right, so price is right here. So, You just want this area defended. Okay. Most traded price of the overnight, we're at it right now. That's 204.58. So overnight low. So we can come down here and test it perfectly and then try to make a run for that big high volume node like I talked about earlier. That I don't think we're just going to crush. Okay. And plus the QQQ is still bad on the 200-day moving average on the daily. All right. So that's one. We could even test the bottom of it and move up. Okay. Now this is the ultimate defense here. This is right here at the week to day view up. And we're dealing with the most traded price of this week. So we could even fall into this area here. I said that was 203.40 and start to bounce. And then I don't know if you break this high, you might just come into here and balance. You break that the regime changes. So that is your bull side. Bear side. Okay. Bear side is we could push up, hit this supply, try to break out, fail, come back in. Okay. If you come back in and you take this confluence low out, break that. You have single prints here. And you're going to come down here to week to day VWAP. This is really where the rubber meets the road. You can't give this level up. Okay. I would think you would probably balance, but if you cut it, held, then you can test the gap. That gap starts at 202.28. You could bounce here or start really trying to fill this gap. All this little volume here, this pocket. Like I said, I don't know if that's particularly in the cards right now. Pretty much the shorts are pretty much gone mostly. So, like I said, something news catalyst will probably have to come out to do that. Okay. Now, of course, we could just drop down here and try to do the same thing. Okay. But like I said, NASDAQ is stronger structurally. That is your scenarios. Hope you enjoyed that content or the analysis. Smash that like button for me. Okay. And every morning, please come join me. Give you the lowdown of the markets, the economic calendar, the market news, leaders and the laggards. And of course, it just gave you long and short trade scenarios. Okay. So, we have a plan today. Now, I've been laying real low in futures, especially this week and even the last month, just due to my strategies that I usually use, my setups haven't really been coming up too much. I haven't really seen them much, and I'm just don't like forcing things. So I've kind of switched. For the time being, I've been playing the SPX options, zero DTEs. I've been doing that, and I've been trading more equities and just options, giving myself an alternate plan, right? Because on certain days like we've had, there's options that I usually like to do in the SPX, especially basically reading market internals and using that to my advantage. So, and so that's what I've been doing. I still watch the futures. It's just I don't really like the environment lately. And now this low volume, right? I'd rather either go for individual stocks, right? And I have positions on that are all pretty much been making me money. So I'm long crude and a bull call spread. I'm long Microsoft on stock equity from 386. Nvidia, I have a bull call spread. QQQ, I have a risk reversal, which I basically at the bottoms of the Qs on Friday, I put on a structure that I did bull put spreads, which is basically like corrected credit that paid for my bull call spread. So that's doing really good. The credit is almost, I'm going to receive the full credit already. I mean, my puts were at 461. I mean, we're at 493 right now. So, and then I'm long team Atlassian, and that's just been holding up nice. That's an equity trade. So that's what I've been doing. I'm basically, I know I don't want to be long-winded, but like I'm saying, I'm just trying to make you guys understand the why force futures when I do all this homework on the weekends and during the week. And there's a lot of times I go back and I'm getting these alerts that I put in, and then I'm like so concentrated on futures that I was like neglecting the work that I did and the edge that I have. I don't just have edge in futures. I'm a successful options trader with spreads before, you know, I was better with options for a while. So, and then I concentrated so much on futures that I kind of was like, oh, I probably do that right now. And sometimes it's just go where the easier money is. Okay. That's the long-winded explanation of that. So, hopefully you guys understand that. And that's why, like, I haven't really been trading really. The Discord, I've been quiet because I don't really see much in these markets. There's not a lot to dissect, right? Anyway, everybody have a great day, and I will see